Fortnite isn't the same. Or, well, that's what a lot of people have been saying. And I actually, for once, agree with a lot of people on this one. But I actually think it's for a different reason than a lot of the ones they are bringing up. And so in this video, I'm going to give my in-depth thoughts on this topic. If you haven't seen Cypher's video, he put out a Fortnite isn't the same video anymore, and that's sort of my reference for this video. Now, a lot of his points I do actually agree with. I think within the last year time span, I think a lot has kind of gone wrong with the game, but they've also done a lot of things right. And then there's things like the bot issue, which is genuinely just a huge issue. I have always said, like, what are we doing? But here are my thoughts. So the first thing is from Cypher's video. He talked about how a lot of the stuff has been samey, like a lot of the weapons and stuff, they're kind of just remixed of old weapons. Like we get ARs and shotguns. They just end up being a different skin of basically the same weapon, and kind of all this ends up feeling the same. He also mentioned how when Epic tries to take big swings and make big risks, we end up with seasons like Wrecked, which we all know how that went. And I actually think Wrecked pinpoints kind of where a lot of my issues with the game started. Now, don't get me wrong, there has been issues before that, but I think this season was supposed to be like casual focused. It was supposed to be this big season where we're gonna shake up pretty much everything. This game is not gonna be super competitive. We're doing car combat. This is going to be like a Mad Max feeling season. And it was going to be crazy, insane, and chaotic, and then it all went to shit. And well, we haven't really seen a season where they've tried to take a risk since then. Granted, it hasn't been that long yet, but I do think it's starting a pattern. So my whole thing for this video is I genuinely just think that Fortnite really has discarded sort of the casual player base and community. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, in the current season, there's a lot of items that are made for casuals. There's a lot of things they do for casuals, like the game's still casual focused. But I am going to bring up plenty of things that they used to do that I feel like were almost entirely uncontroversial, that were for casuals, that they just don't do at all anymore. But I am going to start off with one simple point. I actually think that some of the worst seasons we've had in this game are necessary for the game's future. I think that Wrecked, I think that Primal, I think that Chapter 1 Season X are all very controversial seasons. A lot of people hate them, especially the comp people do not like them. But they were all massive risks. They took massive swings, didn't really pan out, but they've learned and then tried to improve on later. And also, a lot of these seasons were very casual focused. I think Season X was one of the best casual seasons we have ever had in Fortnite. Yes, I do think the mechs were overpowered, but I think a lot of the locations and silly gimmicks and mechanics were super fun. And then for Primal, I appreciate the fact that they tried to switch up the gameplay, make us farm stuff to upgrade guns, and start off with a very underpowered loot pool that you have to upgrade throughout the game. Interesting in concept, poor in execution. And then Wrecked, probably like one of the most casual seasons, maybe even worse than Season X. Like the cars probably were worse than the mechs. And well, swing and a miss, you might say. But then on the other side, we have Chapter 2 Season 7, which I think is one of the best seasons, if not the best season, my personal favorite season. That had UFOs, all of these crazy items. I mean, like, it was casual city'd out. And there are other reasons why it was casual, not just the items or the loot pool or all these different mechanics. Although those definitely help. And usually there was just kind of a cycle where it was like kind of competitive season, then casual season, competitive season, casual season. And usually you could rely on every other season sort of switching tempos. But lately it feels like for the last 3 seasons, it has been more competitive focused. And I think in general, Fortnite has made a crazy shift towards competitive. And this is where I am going to list out all the reasons why I think this. Okay, so I'm gonna take you back to my favorite time period in Fortnite, like 2020 to 2022 era. Fortnite had done so much for the casual community, for what I feel like is my community. Do you remember all of the icon skin cups where you could win their skin early and you had to play in a competitive mode, which wasn't actually competitive, you just competed for the skin? And it was stuff like Lachlan's pickaxe cup where you had to pickaxe each other. That one was so fun. The laser beam mode with the super flint knock, one of the best modes ever made. And then Gref G's cup where it's floor is lava unarmed. All of these modes had very little guns in them. It was a lot more casual, and you just tried to be the best at the mode, and then you would get the skin early. And then there was also the Marvel skin cups where you would play Marvel Knockout, also a very casual mode. There was not really a lot of aiming. You have all these different abilities. It plays more like Overwatch than it does Fortnite. And again, you gotta get the skin early if you did well in the cups. These game modes, I feel like Fortnite has almost entirely lost the essence of. We have had skin cups recently, but they are all like maximum sweatied out. Like you have to be on this game 20 hours a day to possibly win the skin. There has not been a casual mode for a skin in I don't even know how long. Now, don't get me wrong, I am going to give Epic props. They have been trying to bring LTMs back, and I appreciate that more than they could ever understand. I just feel like the execution needs to be studied, because even with this current season, if they just made a bat only game mode, and then if you played that and you did well, then you could win a skin early, that would be so fun. Just make it 0 build, add some counters in that would work against the bat, and make the bat 100% spawn and you get shield and stuff with it. Again, it could be hard to win the skin, but it's such a casual mode that feels like such a W. I don't understand why they don't do this stuff. Also, it could have been like a collab thing too. When Shohei Ohtani came out, they could have done bat only game mode and you win his skin early or something like that. Feels like it wouldn't even be that hard. I can't imagine making the bats 100% spawn out of chests be a very difficult thing, but maybe there's things I don't understand here. Maybe the team isn't really thinking about it, but I just feel like more casual modes are really underserved right now. The drill is another item that I think would be fun to mess around with. There's so many items that you could do. Make one where the explosive rocket launcher, the shockwave launcher, give that 100% spawn rate and make everyone duke out for a skin. They also don't even have to throw crazy money at these tournaments. They would just be fun side modes to do that would give me a reason to create content and to get my community engaged in something. Now, another thing is obviously the live events. You can't argue that back in Chapter 2, Chapter 1, Chapter even 3, they were just way more hype, way more involved, but this is where I'm going to give them credit again. Back in Chapter 5, they had some of the best mini events and overall events that we have had in a while. That was the most connected I felt towards the casual community, my community, just the Fortnite community in general. I'll never forget getting on and just pickaxing chains with everyone. It was so fun and so wholesome, and I love stuff like that. Now, the mini event last season was very neat and it didn't really have the same feel, but I'm not going to knock them too much for this one because I feel like they have made a big improvement from Chapter 4. But speaking of Chapter 4, in Chapter 4, they had the Mr. Beast tournament for $1 million, and they like never have done anything like that again. Again, this is a competitive tournament. People are trying to win $1 million. But me and my friends are by no means competitive at this game at all. And one of my friends got like top 50 in the world in this tournament. So if a casual person can possibly win $1 million, do you see how much more engaging and interesting that is from me as a content creator and for I think you guys as a viewer? I don't know if you guys have watched my video on the Mr. Beast tournament thing, but it was so fun to play in and like one of my favorite memories of the game. Also, if you got above a certain points, they like gave you the glider, I think, for free, and I ended up getting that too. Like it was very fun, and those are things that I am pretty good at. Now let's go to Chapter 3. One thing that Chapter 3 did that was super good for the casual community is they did community concepts. Now, a certain person with a certain skin might have ruined them for everyone, but this is something that I think engages the casual community, the artist community. There's so many different niches of Fortnite, so many different little communities that they just don't engage anymore. Now, the artist community is just really, I feel like personally, discarded at the moment. And that sucks to see. The artist community of Fortnite's one of my favorite communities. They're just trying to make some cool skins, add some cool art to the game, and just overall is really fun to be a part of. And well, Fortnite hasn't done anything for them in the last, I want to say 2 years probably. So maybe now you can kind of understand my stance, all these different points on why the game used to be more casual focused. I mean, just with a lot of the events they did, again, stuff like where you can make a dance and can get that in the game. Even at the original World Cup, there was like the scissors death run mode where you could win crazy tons of money for just being good at death runs. Again, that is casual focus. Like, yes, you have to be good at doing jumps and stuff like that, but that is a casual focus thing. And then they went on to the actual tournament and they haven't done anything like a little mini game inside of Fortnite for a very long time. Again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. They have tried stuff with Fortnite Festival. At the last FNCS, they did a little Fortnite Festival thing, which I was actually featured in. But what sucked about that, it was a tournament that happened behind the scenes, and they just showed a sizzle reel during FNCS, and it didn't really have any sort of community feel to it. It almost felt just like an ad. Don't get me wrong, it was a really cool event, and I want them to do more of that. I just wish it was on the main stage. Like, I would have wanted to see that as a spectator. I mean, these people are crazy good at Guitar Hero, Fortnite Festival, and all these games, and you don't even get to see them be good. You just watch sort of what it was an ad. Now, they gave him like a golden Fortnite Festival guitar and I think $10,000, which is awesome. But I just wish they would do this casual focus stuff more. Like, engage the different parts of the community, not just the competitive community. It feels like so much of Fortnite is all about, okay, FNCS, let's do this. Let's do this new event, which involves pro people. Let's put millions of dollars into pro. Let's do cash cups. Let's do all these different events. And it's just getting tiring as a content creator and someone who has always been casual focused. Like, where is the stuff that I can engage with, that I can gauge my audience with? Now, again, I'm caveating this. They just announced a 50v50 Fortnite mode mayhem that I will actually be taking part in. I don't know how this is gonna go, and so we'll have to wait and see. I'm filming this before I'm actually participating. When this video comes out, I might have just done it. So if you want to see my thoughts, I'll probably post it on my Twitter. But stuff like that is like the first time that I've been involved in anything casual related for Fortnite in probably years. I am so excited to play in that, and this is where I am hopeful that Fortnite is sort of seeing the lack of casual focus towards the community. And if Fortnite somehow sees this, please, I beg you, just keep doing stuff like that. Keep trying to make modes. Again, the more it feels like a mini game, 50v50 can get pretty sweaty, so I am a little bit worried about that. But the more it feels like little just mini games, we can play different creative maps, or you can come up with new LTMs and just make a skin available early for people who win it. Like, my message to Epic is, please just try to engage these so many different communities within your game. You have the UEFN community, which I feel like they do a decent job of engaging. I mean, they're trying to build that out, and they do a great job at like doing ads and making people come in and play these different modes. I feel like they're doing a pretty good job from me as on the outside. The comp community, obviously, I feel like that's where probably 80% of their focus goes. But please try to engage the artist community again. Buy concepts from people, host an event, host different stuff where they'll shout out people. At least, like, I understand there's some risks with that, but there's risks with even getting icon skins for big creators. And maybe you could do a little bit better background checks for some of these people. I don't know, but I just think you need to engage that community again. Engage the LTM community. I mean, there's so many people that just want to play fun new modes. Like, you've brought back a lot of really cool classic old ones. But even the getaway mode, like, I feel like was a mistake. Like, there's certain items in the game that just make that mode basically unplayable. Engage the storyline people again. Like, the storyline has definitely had a resurgence, but I think you can put even more effort into that, and it will be appreciated so much by so many people. And again, just overall trying to really give focus towards the casual community. I mean, 2/3 of the people that play this game at least are casual players that do not care to be good at this game. Like myself, I play just for fun. And there's so many different events, LTMs, and different things you can do to really engage all these different people. So my wish for Fortnite is that we kind of go back to some of the more casual things, go back to that chapter 2 era of just all these different events to really engage that side of the community. And I actually think they are trying to make efforts to do that. I just think that someone at the head needs to be a little bit more casual minded and do things that are more casual focused rather than all these more competitive sides of Fortnite. More mini games and silly modes that aren't really inherently competitive, but that you could be good at, but yeah, they're not serious. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Do you think Fortnite isn't the same? Let me know why you think Fortnite isn't the same. Obviously, I'm not trying to brush over all the other issues. Go watch Cypher's video. Very good video. But let me know exactly what you think Fortnite needs to do and what you think about my argument on what Fortnite needs to do for the casual community. And I'll see you later, bruh. Peace. Thank you so much to all my Patreons for supporting the channel, and thank you, Paragon, for the extra crazy support.